Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Hana, evolutionary astrologer, and today I want to talk to you about your moon sign. You probably know your sun sign, right? For example, when someone says, I'm a Virgo or I'm a Capricorn, they're really talking about where the sun was at the time of their birth. But we also have a moon, we have a Venus, we have a Saturn, a Jupiter, Mars, and so on. And each planet represents a different part of ourselves, our psyche, our personality, our soul journey. So in the end, we really are a fusion of all the signs, all the planets, all the houses. But today, I really want to focus on something that I believe to be especially important, which is your moon placement, and why knowing your moon placement can be so incredibly valuable. So, not only knowing your moon placement, your moon by house and sign, but also the important people in your life, your parents, your kids, your partners, your friends, your boss, your coworkers, because it's going to give you such important information. But first of all, why does the moon matter? Like why should we pay attention to our moon sign? Imagine that the moon has everything to do with our emotional world. So how we feel, how we process life, how we digest experiences. So just like when we eat, right, and the food enters our body and the food is broken down, it's digested, it's absorbed, it's, part of it is going to be eliminated. All of this process of digestion is very much what the moon is about. The moon is a mechanism that digests our emotions and everything that we go through. What comes in, what goes out, what we see, what we like, what we don't like, what we say, what someone else said, and how the day went. Like everything is filtered by the emotional world, right? Our emotional um part of ourselves, which is very much the moon. So, who we feel safe with. What kind of people do we like to be around? What kind of activities makes us feel good? What kind of activities that we hate, that doesn't, the things that don't make us feel good, and how we respond to life emotionally. So you see how important the moon is and how astrologically the moon represents our inner world, our inner realm, and that place in ourselves where we remove the masks. When we take off the makeup, it's very much like when you get home from a busy day, from getting so much done, from work, from taking care of other people, from taking care of, the things that need to be taken care of. And then you get home and you just get to be yourself. You take off your clothes, you put on your PJs, and you just relax. That's the moon. It's that most personal layer of who we are, that most personal place of who we are. So by knowing our moon placement, we can really understand our emotional rhythm. Is it fast? Is it slow? So for example, when something happens in your life, something good, something bad, doesn't matter. Do you feel it right away? Or does it take a little bit to sink in? Do you need to sit with your emotions? Are you able to cry it out? Or do you need to talk it out? Or do you move on very quickly? Your moon sign is really going to tell you your emotional tempo. And that helps you not only to understand yourself, but how to make better choices in life. What do I need? And when you in taking this to even another level, when you understand the emotional tempo of the people around you, you can better understand them. You can better understand the way they react to things, the way what their personal needs are. Um, so the same thing with coping mechanism. When you feel stressed, what do you need to feel grounded? What do you need? Do you need solitude? Do you need to talk things out? Do you need a lot of conversation? Do you need to be social? Do you need to isolate? Do you need to go to nature? Do you need to, you know, get back to your routine? Do you need to take action? How do you take intentional care, of yourself and others, of course? So, for example, let's just say that your husband, your wife, has a Cancer moon. They will need more space to retreat, to recover. They're going to have a slower rhythm. But if you don't respect that, if you push them when they're already feeling overwhelmed, they're going to shut down more. If you keep asking them questions, they need to have room. They need to have some space, and they will return when they feel safe, when they have recovered. So this is really important information for to deepen the connection, to understand the other, and to make the relationship last, right? So this is really truly emotional intelligence in action. The other thing is, going back to something I already said, the moon really tells us what our emotional needs are. So, what makes you feel safe? What makes you feel good? What makes you feel secure, nurtured? And not only how you can meet your needs, the self-care, how you can understand yourself better, but also what do you need from others? What do you need in love? What do you need in your friendships? What do you need from your family? And even the activities, your daily activities. What do you need to feel good? So some examples here. If you have a Libra moon will need harmony, fairness, when they will feel safe when people share their perspectives, people share their opinions. They know how others think and feel. A Virgo moon needs routine, order. Safety comes when I feel prepared, when I can anticipate, when I know, when there's clear instructions, when there's clear guidance, when I know what's going on. Gemini moon, they need to talk things out. They feel good, they feel secure, they feel safe when things make sense. Gemini, the mind, things need to make sense. So when things make sense, I can process things, I can move on. If my boyfriend broke up with me, I need to understand why so I can then digest it, process, and move on. Aries moon, they need independence and they need to take action. They need to start. They need to take action. They need to make decisions. So an Aries moon is going to have a hard time with a partner, with a friend, with people who don't take action, who are always waiting for everyone else to be happy, the ideal time for things. They need to do something about it. That's how they feel good. That's how they feel safe. Another thing about the moon placement speaks about how you attach and how you bond. How do you form connections? Is it fast? Is it intense? Is it passionately? Is it cautious? Is it gradual? For example, if you have a fire moon, Aries, Leo, and Sag, your attachments are going to be passionate. They're going to be expressive. If you have a water moon, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, you're going to be more cautious. There's going to be a deep, deep emotional activation here, more emotionally sensitive. You need depth. If you have an air moon, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, it's all about the mind, intellectual bonding, talking, sharing ideas, stimulating, feeling stimulated by the conversations, by the connection, by the relationships, by the friendships, learning, exploring. If you have an earth moon, and that's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you need, the way you attach is when you sense that there is practical, steady, reliable connection. You can count on them. There's a level of, it needs to be grounded. It needs to be, it's an earth, the earth moons. It needs to really um, bring that sense of it feels real, right? It works here in this time and space reality. It's not just talking or traveling together. No, it needs to work on the everyday, daily life type of thing. But the other thing is your love language. The moon tells us what your love language is. So how you give love, how to receive love on at the really the deepest level. And the moon is a key to our emotional world, right? What makes you feel safe and nurtured and seen. So the love language is going to reflect your moon placement. Like, is it quality time? Is it acts of service? Is it words of affirmation, or is it just quietness? I need quiet space to process, to feel, to integrate. So again, by understanding this, it can really help you love yourself better, but other how to connect with others in truly nourishing ways. So if you, for example, if you are an Aries moon, or if you uh, have an Aries moon person in your life, the love language is excitement, is encouragement. You can do it. Let's go. It's adventure, right? Taurus moon, love is in the physical things. So Taurus moon love to either cook for other people or to, be cooked for, to receive the physical gifts. It's the physical form of appreciation. It's the food, it's touch. They're going to need more physical affection, touch, hugs, kisses, cuddles. That's their love language. If you're a Capricorn moon, love is through being reliable, long-term support, you know. Virgo moon, love is in the acts of service, doing things to help, doing things to support. Leo, praise, loyalty, grand gestures, romantic gestures, right? Gemini moon, words of affirmation. So that helps a lot, right? And then finally, moon also speaks about your mother and all the your childhood upbringing, your roots, and even, I mean, we can even go to your lineage and the ancestral imprints. So the moon shows our early emotional environment, our connection with our mother, our relationship with your mother, which is, it's our first relationship. So it's a lot of what was going on in that relationship. It spans during your whole lifetime. It really establishes a lot of the patterns in your life. So to understand, when we understand the moon and the childhood experiences, we can really heal, especially if the bonds were challenging, if childhood was not easy. This moon can really show the deep emotional wounds, but also the path to healing it. And even we can talk about lineage. The moon is really showing our lineage, our ancestral connections and imprints, and the lineage and our heritage and where we're coming from. And another really important thing too about the moon is that the moon is showing our inner home, right? We talked about the emotional world, but also our actual home. So the moon reflects what kind of physical space you need to feel safe. So it's really your sanctuary, right? So how can you build space that makes you feel safe? How can you create a space that really calms your nervous system, nourishes your body, nourishes your soul, gives you all the things that you need? So for example, a Sag moon, a Sagittarius moon, they're going to need open windows. They're going to need room to roam. They're going to need space. They're going to need maybe, bookshelves full of philosophy and, the souvenirs from all the places that they visit or they want to visit. If you're a Cancer moon, coziness, as sentimental keepsakes, the familiar smells, that many times remind you of your first home or your childhood home. So, this is so important. This is such key information here because we all go through so many stresses on a daily basis. Like our world, our lives, human life now is really, high cortisol levels. And having that sacred personal space where you can really unwind, recuperate, renew is essential to living a healthy life. And so a lot of when you go out into the world and how you feel, and how you work and um, what kind of activity you're doing out in the world and how you parent and how you show up for other people. All of this is takes us back to our moon placement because when you feel good emotionally, when you have this time for yourself to recover, to recuperate, to have your sacred sanctuary so you can recuperate to feel ready to go back out into the world. So healing happens through our moon signs. Self-connection happens through our moon signs and that capacity to feel safe, truly good in our own skin. So our home is very much reflected on that. It's our shelter, it's our nest, it's our sanctuary. So as you can see, the moon sign or your moon placement is so rich. It's deeply, deeply personal. So understanding it really helps you nourish and take care of yourself more intentionally, and also how to show up in the world more empathic as a partner, as a friend, as a parent, as a healer, as a coworker. So ultimately a more whole and more compassionate human being. So if you don't know your moon sign, go to my website. I have the link down below. You can just cast your chart and you'll see the little moon sign, the moon glyph, the moon symbol, and you can see in what sign it is and what house it is. And that's going to give you such important information. On that note, thank you very much for watching. And if you like this video, give me the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and I will see you next time.